good.
Must have had enough.
Yeah. Well, that just proves that it's got a good tone.
Yeah, yes.
And what we're looking at is a cornopean.
Oh, yes.
Because at the date that this was made, that is between about 1830 and 1860, they weren't called cornets, they were called cornopeans.
I know very little about it, actually. Only that it's possibly, or most likely, been handed down through the family and possibly played years and years ago by my wife's grandfather in a Salvation Army band.
Oh, it really was in a Salvation Army band.
Yes,
oh,
yes.
very good.
Yes.
Firstly, it's very attractive. I
Yes.
love all this sort of curlicues
That's
around
right, yes,
here.
yes.
And the next thing is you look a bit closer and you say, hey, there's something a bit dodgy with the valves. The invention of valves to get the notes only came in the 1820s. And in 1838, a man called Shaw invented this particular his system, which must have worked very well because, although finally it's died out now, it was actually used for many, many years. Now, have you played both types?
Played both types,
and,
yes.
And what do you, what's the difference? How do you find this?
Well, this is a much slower movement than the piston movement, the valve movement now.
Right.
Much, much slower.
That's interesting.
Yes,
So probably that then decided the future of the Shaw system. There's something that I love about it, which is that you haven't cleaned it.
No, I was going to ask you about that, actually.
I mean, there are two schools of thought there, and particularly with an instrument that's used perhaps in public performances, people like to think that, a brass wind should be shiny
and clean.
But,
that's right, yes.
but to me, I know I bang on about this all the time. Something that's old, I think, should look it, and it's got this wonderful patina through here, this golden colouring, which lightens the grey, and I think it's wonderful to see. Here we have the maker, Köhler, of Henrietta Street. Here it is again, in London, obviously of German extraction. The instrument itself is a rarity, and cornopeans are very desirable. If one was talking about auction value today, we'd be thinking about perhaps between £1,000 and £1,500.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, it's quite a surprise.
Had you had its case, that might have pushed it over £2,000.
Would it really? Yes.
So that does make an enormous difference. But as it is, it's a wonderful instrument.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And go on using it.
I've not seen anything like that before. It's extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
Or is it?
well, to tell you the real thing is that generally, if you brought me a bit of soul now, I would say, gosh, that's grotesque and not very nice.
Yeah.
And they made these very complex, slightly Turkish-inspired pieces. And this one, to my mind, is about the only bit of Solnay I've ever seen that works. I think the painting is simply lovely. I think that's beautiful.
Is it hand painted?
Hand painted. Very well. It's a sort of faience material. These colours, typical of 1875 to 1890.
Really?
I suppose it's probably worth about £600 or £700. But I haven't seen anything of this quality.
Did you know anything about this before?
No, not at all. No, I've always liked it ever since my father bought it from my mother. I've always sort of said I would like that one day, and then when obviously it came to me, I was really, really pleased to have it. And we love it. I think it's so extraordinary.
Well, I think you're very lucky.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Keep it and enjoy it.
I'll touch it for luck.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing.